If there's one Sonic game that has polarized its fanbase more than any other, it would have to be Sonic R. Developed by Traveler's Tales, Sonic R was released on the Sega Saturn and PC in 1997, with an upgraded port released in 2005 on the Sonic Gems collection. With the whole Sonic gang at your disposal, you had to navigate 5 treacherous tracks filled with loops, hard-banked turns, jumps, water, and shortcuts. While this wasn't the Blue Blur's first racing game, it is probably his most famous or infamous one to date, not counting his most recent and incredibly excellent efforts. This game gets a lot of hate from fans and gamers alike for its clunky controls and handling, bad graphics, and soundtrack. I'm here to tell you, dear viewer, that they're kinda right. Here's how I see Sonic R divided amongst its fans. You're either one of 3 camps. 1, you think the game is garbage. 2, you kinda like the game ironically. Or 3, you actually like the game. I personally fall into the 3rd camp on this one, but we'll get into that as we go along. I first played Sonic R on the PC at a friend's house, and I thought it was totally awesome. But back in those days, it didn't take much to cater to my tastes. If it had Sonic in it, I was probably going to like it no matter what. But that was then. Looking at this game now, I can see where everything went wrong with it, but I'm willing to look past all those things because of my initial enjoyment from my childhood. That being said, let's get into the Saturn port. First off, the graphics look bad, even by Sega Saturn standards. The character models look ugly and that draw distance is horrible. It just kind of fades in and it's very jarring to look at. In multiplayer it's even worse. If you're playing with friends who don't know the tracks, they're just going to be wandering around aimlessly without having any idea where the track is. That's another problem with this game, the tracks. They feel more like action stages that just happen to have a racetrack going through it. Most of the time the track isn't even clearly labeled. Now I understand what they were going for when designing the game like this. In order to unlock all the secret characters, you have to find Sonic coins scattered around the tracks. Some coins are hidden behind doors that require a certain amount of rings to unlock. Some can lead to a convoluted shortcut, while others lead to Chaos Emeralds, which are used to turn into Super Sonic. Duh. I do appreciate the idea of incorporating that trademark Sonic exploration into a Sonic racing game, but you need to remember, this is a racing game. It's not meant to be played like a Sonic game, despite the game being designed like this. This is where I think people begin to hate this game, the fact that it doesn't play like a Sonic game. Which brings us to the controls. The controls aren't much different than your average racing game. You got acceleration, brake, the works. Even the shoulder buttons allow you to lean into a turn for a bit extra traction, or you can kinda skid around a corner. You also have a jump button. Yes, a jump button. Because in order to get some of the emeralds and coins, they require precision platforming. In a racing game. Let me put it this way. This is a Sonic game with tank controls, so attempting to do precision platforming with these controls is not ideal at all. Fortunately though, these parts are very few and far between. Speaking of controls, each playable character controls very differently from one another. Sonic and Knuckles are well-rounded characters, Tails has high acceleration and skids all over the place, making him awful to control, and Amy drives a car that is slow as molasses, but she ends up being pretty easy to control. Each character has their own little special move as well. Sonic can double jump, which comes in handy for the platforming segments, Tails can fly for a short period of time, Knuckles can slowly glide around, and Amy has a speed boost that charges over time, as well as the ability to drive over water. There are some secret unlockable characters, but they're all pretty dumb. Tails doll? And this thing? One last thing that I need to mention about Sonic R is its soundtrack. Yeah, I know, it's so bad it's good. I don't even like it ironically, I absolutely love this soundtrack. I love the catchy Europop beats, I love the stupid corny lyrics, I love the fact that it doesn't even fit with the game at all. It's just a stupid fun soundtrack to listen to, and it's one of my personal favorite video game soundtracks of all time. Despite everything that's wrong with Sonic R, I can't help but enjoy it. It's a huge nostalgia rush for me every time I play it, back to the simpler days when the next Sonic game was always the biggest deal ever. Given all the obvious problems this game has, and my personal love for it, it's difficult to recommend Sonic R. If you really want to try it, I recommend picking up the PC version first. It's easier to come by and it looks hella better. There's also the port on the Sonic Gems collection, which can be found at a reasonable price. When it comes to the Saturn port, prices tend to change quite a bit, so it's difficult to say how much it usually goes for. I got mine for about $20 complete, which is a fairly good deal. If you want to play a Sonic racing game, or just a good racing game in general, the recently released Sonic & All-Stars Racing Transformed is your absolute best bet. It even has a ton of Sega Saturn references in it, and it's just an awesome racing game overall, so I highly recommend it.